If you clicked on this video, chances are you want to level up your content game in 2025. Today, I'll take you on a tour of my studio and show you exactly what I use to record high quality videos for Instagram and YouTube. Before we dive into it though, I want to preface this by saying that quality of audio and video is by far one of the most important aspects when it comes to creating content online in our day and age. A lot of people will tell you just use your phone, and if that's all you got and there's no chance of you investing in anything further than that, please be my guest and use that. But the sooner you start taking your craft and brand seriously, the quicker your audience will do too. My 2 cents. On a side note, one of my most frequently asked questions on Instagram is how I edit my videos. And although we won't be getting into editing today, if you want me to do a separate video going full in depth on how I edit my videos, just drop a comment below and let me know. With that being said, let's actually jump straight in. There are 3 main components when it comes to high quality videos, and I wanted to break them down, basically put them in a list of priority on what I believe you should start investing on. Number 1 will always be lighting. Number 2 will be audio, and number 3 will be video in terms of new lenses, new camera bodies, and all that good stuff. Starting with lighting, this particular studio is what we call a controlled environment. And what that means is that there is no outside light coming in. If I were to turn all of the artificial lights off, this room would go completely dark, and this is how it looks. The only reason you get to kind of see me, hopefully by this point, is because there are 2 computer monitors shining a light on my face, and I think the camera is struggling. So let me just put you up on the tripod and let's start setting up our beautiful scene. Let's turn on our key light. Then we'll turn on the overhead light. There we go. And then we'll turn on the rim light, or the hair light, as they say. There we go. And then we'll turn on the almost like practical lights or ambient lights, as they say. So now we have our whole scene. So basically what I use is a combination of 4 different lights. Number 1 is the key light. Number 2 is the overhead light. Number 3 is the hair light. Number 4 are all the practical lights, ambient lights, let's just call them, that you see in the background. Now, each one of these lights has a reason to be there. The key light is the main source of light that we have in this scene. It is positioned in a 45-degree angle based on where you're looking at me. This is 45 degrees, looking down on me. This is what creates this separation between the face. Half of it is bright and the other half is kind of dark. So you get this kind of cinematic, mysterious look. Next up, we use our overhead light. Now, the reason why this exists is mainly to separate the subject, in this case me, from the background. Check this out. This is with it and this is without it. As you can tell, we're missing a little bit of light when it comes to my hair, and in turn, me and the background kind of become one. What we want to do is use the overhead light in order to separate the subject from the background. Next, we want to use the hair light. And now with the rim light or hair light, we start seeing a little bit of the silhouette of the face, and it's positioned intentionally outside of the frame because most viewers would perceive this as part of that little lamp right there. So basically what we're doing with the rim light or the hair light is enhancing the level of brightness, let's just say, from that small practical light that we have right there, the IKEA lamp. Now, both the key light and the overhead light are set to the exact same temperature, and that is 6500. 6500 Kelvin is basically what our eyes as humans perceive as daylight. And the other 2 lights, the rim light or hair light and the practicals, are set to a lower Kelvin to get this warmer tone. And lastly, we want something to give context and to give more texture in our background, which are the wooden acoustic panels and all the music equipment that I have there. So we want them to be seen as well. And that's where we use the rest of the practical lights. And on a level, these are like 26% brightness because we don't want to draw so much attention when it comes to those lights. We use those basically so that the background is not just completely dark. Now, for actual equipment, the key light that I'm using is the Amaron 60DS with the Light Dome SE. For the overhead light, we have a P2000 from Smallrig. We have the IKEA lamp. Then we have two RGB LED lights you can find anywhere, basically, almost like the Philips Hue lights, but they're not Philips Hues anyway. And then we have this strip right here, which is yet again not a Philips Hue lights. I'll put everything in the description. I don't remember the brand, but it just works. Moving on to audio. Currently, there are 1,000,001 different options to choose from. So there's basically two categories that I break things down. It's either wireless or it's going to be wired. When it comes to wireless, I personally use the Rode Pro. This is what you've been listening on for pretty much the majority of my talks here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. But when I do some educational content, I use the Shure SM7B. That is a wired microphone. This is a wireless microphone. Other options for wireless, which I have tried and it's actually pretty good, it's the DJI Mic 2. When it comes to wired microphones, you'll need an extra step, and that will be your audio interface. Now, audio in general is both my bread and my butter. I've been a musician for the past decade. I've studied music production in the US. I'm all about audio, so you can easily overdo it and end up spending thousands of dollars on things that actually don't really matter. Small side note on this, anything that you put online, whether it's Spotify, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, gets compressed. So the small intricacies that audio companies push, like better high end, better capture, better this, better that, doesn't necessarily matter. What I would go for, the number one thing, is 32-bit float. 32-bit basically means that no matter how hard you try to scream to the mic, it never clips. It will never get distorted, basically. You can always turn it down and you get clear sounding audio. Now, when it comes to the wired aspect, the new step that you need to introduce is an audio interface. I personally use the Rode Podcaster Pro, but I used to use an Apollo Twin from Universal Audio. Again, that's more towards the music production side of things. When it comes to microphones though, you could get simple microphones like the Shure SM58 or a wired microphone. You could go the route of the Shure SM7B, or you could play it fancy and get like a condenser microphone that has tubes in it, and it's cool, but there's no point unless you're making hit records. Then go ahead and buy that. Actually, there's better than that. Anyway. The last part is video, and just as much as audio, there's endless options for you to choose from. The main product I recommended to pretty much everyone who wanted to get started with content in 2024, it was this guy right here, which is the Osmo Pocket 3. Now, if you're gonna get this, please go ahead and buy the Creator Combo, because the Creator Combo comes with this, which is the DJI Mic 2. What we talked about audio, this has 32-bit float. Now, this is a great step up from your phone. And the best part of it, I think the Creator Combo comes with this kind of attachment, the lens, magnetic lens, which makes it even wider. Everything we talked about today falls under the umbrella of A-roll, so your main talking head scene. We're going to talk a little bit more about the lenses, about the cameras and all that, but lighting-wise, audio-wise, and camera-wise, everything we touched on today falls under this unique scene, which is the same one I use for Instagram. When it comes to going out and about and shooting B-roll, you could take your main camera, you could take different lenses, different camera bodies, but this has been my go-to personally for everything, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's me working out, whether it's me going on a walk, studying, going to a coffee shop. I take this guy everywhere. The next step from that, and this is actually the camera that I used to use, I still do. This is my main camera when I do educational videos and I pull up the iPad kind of style videos on YouTube. This is the camera I use. It's a Canon RP. This is a full frame camera. It's not the greatest when it comes to video. It only shoots 1080p, but it's very affordable. This camera with a nifty 50 took me to 75,000 followers without any proper lighting. And yes, I wasn't shooting 4K for the majority of my videos. My main camera, the one that I'm shooting on this video, the one that I use to shoot all of my Instagram reels, is the Sony FX30. On that FX30, I have the Viltrox 13mm f1.4 lens. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst, but it gets the job done. Something to note here, the FX30 is not a full frame sensor. What that means is that the actual focal length that we're having on these videos is more towards the 20 to 24 millimeters. That would be the representative in a full frame camera. I shoot in S-Log3 and I color grade everything in Final Cut Pro. And if you made it this far, I'm gonna let you in on another secret. This is what I use when it comes to filters. Normally, the actual video that you get from this camera looks a little bit something like this, but I actually use a K&F Nano X series black diffusion 1/4, which is basically a black mist filter. And what this does, I want you to pay attention to that little guy over there, the IKEA lamp. So watch this now. And watch how with this filter we get this gloomy, kind of bloomy effect. This is basically my entire setup. I really hope you liked this video and got some value out of it. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know below in the comments on what I should do next. I'm really trying to take YouTube seriously this year and your help means a lot. Thank you so much. Speak soon.